guys, this is Tom Nouse, and welcome back to my waking up at 5 a.m. challenge, which I'm doing across all of the year in 2019. So this video, I've let a whole month pass. I decided at the end of week 4 that I was just going to let weeks 5 to 8 pass without creating a video and see if that improved the rhythm of the videos, and I sort of felt like it was a bit excessive to do a video every week. So this is a report of the past of the second month. So in this video, I'm just going to be absolutely brutally honest with myself and with you, because it hasn't been a perfect month, and I just want to come up and just kind of be a little bit personal, because I opted to do this as a journey to just express myself and just tell you a little bit about what I've experienced with this challenge and in relation to my life and the things that have been happening. So week 5 really passed fine, and I got through and I didn't really notice anything too different. I was sort of getting up and it was all casual, doing work, and things were good. On the weekend of week 5, my family were actually selling the family home, and there was the auction on, and it's been quite a struggle for my parents and also my other 2 siblings who still live at home. I moved out over a year ago, but it's been winding up to this date for many months, and there's a sense of a loss of identity and moving on to a new era, and especially my parents, who invested so much time in raising us and in this beautiful family home that they still very much love, even though they recognise it is time to move on. It was sort of this difficult day, even as much of a celebration as it was. But I was in quite a positive state, and I'd moved out, so I'd made my peace with it to a significant extent, more so than my parents. And so I sort of came in this really good mood, and we had the auction, and we sold, and it was actually a really great price. It was a cause for celebration, but it was still very difficult, because then it was sort of like that final, like, oh, this is actually happening, we're really closing off this chapter in our lives. And just to see my loved ones go through what they were going through and just being there for them, it also brought up this sort of unsteadiness within me, and I sort of became more attached to this past identity that I would put so much personal growth into evolving away from. And I found myself facing sort of this old version of myself as I went through all the 4 walls of each room and reflected on it, and it sort of unhinged me, and just unexpectedly I got sort of sucked down into the emotional state. And on the surface I was okay, but I just felt like something was off, like something was like coming up. It was this emotional catharsis that I was going through, as I guess a part of my repressed identity was coming up, as if to say a final goodbye as well. So that weekend, as I went into week 6, I actually found myself in quite a deep emotional crisis, to be honest. It felt like an existential crisis, even though I've had them in the past and I've dealt with them, and I've made a lot of peace with various existential issues. And this is deep, and I don't want to get too heavy on you, but it did kind of feel like this wasn't just sadness, this was or it wasn't even sadness, it was a grief and a negativity that was sort of at a very, very deep level, and didn't even have thoughts attached to it. It was more just a state that I was in, and I had to just kind of sit with it. And it was really weird. I was going through the city, and I was planning on doing some study and stuff, and I just ended up going around on like buses and trains and just like listening to like audiobooks and reflecting about life, and just feeling like this pit grow and grow and grow until it just became too much. And so I actually had to take 2 days off work, and I didn't get up at 5 a.m. that day, and for the rest of the week I didn't get up, and it really knocked me for 6 unexpectedly. But that's what I've come to kind of recognize in myself, as I have been going through a bit of a spiritual awakening, not enlightenment or anything like that, but an absolute increase in awareness of myself, my belief patterns, how I relate to life, and just the sort of depth of awareness and the extraordinary beauty of life that comes from awakening to various aspects of this. And I'm sure I'll shoot more videos about my experience if that interests you. But also a side of this is a real purging of past emotions, and that's what this was. It was as if I was releasing something that was very, very suppressed and very subconscious. And I did get through week 6. I knew in the back of my mind I was going to be okay, but I just had to pause and reassess and strip away and come more fully into myself. And it made me really humble, to be honest. I thought I was growing a lot. I never thought I was better than anyone. I never thought I was superior, but I thought, wow, like I've come a long way. But this showed me not at all. There's so much growth. There really is so much evolution that a single perspective, a single being can go through. And it just hit me that I think this might be, well, I know it's an infinite journey. And I just sort of became humbled by that, and I expected to face a lot more growth in the future. But then I came into a new lightness, and that's the beautiful thing, is that as I entered week 7 of this challenge, I got more focused, I felt more free, I felt more gratitude, I felt more appreciation and love for other people, acceptance of their struggles, acceptance of the way they choose to act, even if it's against my interests. Just this sense of peace and understanding and humility, to be honest. Which, I hope it's coming across as authentic, because it really was. It really humbled me. Now, as for the 5 a.m, to get back on that track, I noticed that without making the video each week, it didn't help me. I felt myself becoming detached from this goal. So I think I want to make a weekly video, even if it's just to express myself around this topic, and not so much focus specifically on the 5 a.m. So I'm going to get back to doing weekly videos, and the month experiment, I don't think it paid off ultimately. But that's okay. Anyway, I got back on to week 7. I think I missed one day in week 7 as I was easing back into it early on in the week, and then I got back in, and now we're arriving through week 8, and I'm very much on track. A couple of things I have noticed about the 5 a.m. is that if I don't go to bed at 9 p.m. strictly, and I let it go into 11, I said it didn't matter in a previous video, but I wake up and I look at myself and I try and get ready for work, and I see myself in the mirror and I go, is that me? Like, my hair won't style, there's dark rings under my eyes, I just look zombified and just lifeless, and I sort of feel that way a little bit. And I've kind of realized, like, I don't want to turn this into a limiting belief or anything, but I just think I need more sleep and put more emphasis on getting that sleep. And I've since been doing that. And last night I did get to bed at 9 p.m, even though I was up until about 10, and I sort of was doing some a nighttime meditation, one of those YouTube recordings. Recommend Michael Sealey, he's fantastic. And yeah, and I woke up today really refreshed and so much energy, which is really good. And overall, I think the 5 a.m. thing I'm definitely going to continue, but I can see how it's not a helpful habit at all if you don't do it right, and if you don't really commit holistically, and you're not just doing it to be impressive, like the idea of that I'm an early riser. If you're doing it for that reason, it's flimsy, and that's, I guess, what I'm trying to remove from why I'm doing it. I'm trying to make my motivations more pure, back to the original reasons why I thought 5 a.m. could be a healthy habit and routine for my life. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be making weekly updates from now on. I plan to. And let me know if any of these ideas resonated with you, as sort of draining and negative as they may have been to listen to. And I will see you in the next video.